We can talk all night.
Testing.
Talk.
Oh, yeah.
That's singing.
All right.
You didn't ask for singing, but you're
easy,
getting
baby. Make it last all night. All night. She was an American girl.
And we're ready. We're here. We're queer. Some of us. Get used to it.
Right.
Hey, Nick.
What?
Can you recite the entire Monty Python scene where the whole I'm being repressed thing? My name is Dennis.
Not the entire thing, no.
I think you could.
Nah, I've tried. Okay. I can't.
I was just saying the other day to somebody that you could, in fact, recite the whole thing.
I mean, is it a lie if they never know the truth?
Just tell me if they're ever coming over or something. I'll write it on my hand.
You'll rehearse it.
Is it going to be demanded of you? You think you can always just say you get stage fright or something? Or that you're not their little monkey to entertain them on their demand.
For more than 15 seconds, the little monkey one could work, but stage fright, no way.
That's my usual
you're right,
excuse,
the little
is that
monkey
I'm not
one, yeah.
a dancing monkey.
But again, once they get to know you, they'll know that you're still lying.
Yeah, unless it's for the right price.
Right.
For the right price, I'm anything you want me to be.
What is your threshold? Your price threshold?
Depends on what we're talking about.
Okay.
That's fair.
It's a sliding scale.
Some things you do pro bono even, I would think.
Yeah.
A man has to have some dignity.
To eat like gross shit, that's usually a little bit higher. Not that high though.
No,
Not too high.
I would imagine that's kind of a standard price. $15.
My friend Dave, he'll eat anything for nothing.
just for the giggles.
Yeah,
anything.
just for the gigs. Just for shits and gigs. Heavy on the shits.
I understand. So is this like an LO for the lulz? Do they do that anymore, or is that like something that they used to do?
He hasn't done it in a while, I guess, but we haven't been in a lot of situations. Neither of us have worked in a restaurant together in a long time, so there hasn't been any rotten meat dropped on the floor or
have you ever seen
mystery thing, a mystery clump in a drain or whatever.
Have you ever watched My Strange Addiction? Like, those people will eat some weird things. Would he eat, like, human remains, like cremated human remains, or
Probably.
Mattresses?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not like on the regular. It wouldn't be like a compulsive thing for him, but he would do it.
If you asked him to.
Yeah.
All right.
If you told him that he wouldn't.
I feel like I need to meet this character now.
This is the same guy who was... This is the same guy who was visited by the FBI for talking about the breadstick nation of Islam when that's a whole different story. Have I told that story?
No, what's the breadstick nation of Islam?
I guess I should change his name. Let's call him Terry. Even though I think I already said it earlier.
Yeah,
whatever.
You don't have to know it's the same guy.
Yeah, Terry, when we worked at Olive Garden, the people in the kitchen had these shirts that said Breadstick Nation on them. And Dave, whatever. His name's Dave, right?
Anyway, doxing has begun.
He would pick up shifts in the fucking kitchen. And at this point in his life, for whatever reason, he had like just attained the ability to grow a really big, scraggly beard. So he did that and he shaved his head. And then he would just kept saying the Breadstick Nation of Islam and talking about how he's in the Breadstick Nation of Islam. Just funny jokes. Terrorist jokes, things like that.
But here's the thing that you're missing, and that's that Dave can be really intense.
Yeah, Dave can be intense. He can be scary. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, he couldn't hurt a fly. He couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. But, like, if you don't know that about him, then...
He's got the crazy eyes.
He's got the crazy eyes because he is crazy, and he's tall, and, he's, like, a little bit intimidating if you don't know him. But, yeah, so he was just talking about the Breadstick Nation of Islam a lot, and someone at work, we're pretty sure we know who it is, but someone at work called the cops or the FBI, whatever, and mentioned that they were nervous about one of their coworkers being in some sort of terrorist cell, Olive Garden-based terrorist cell. So Dave gets a knock on his parents' door where he was staying at the time, and he opens the door with a shaved head and a scraggly beard, and these two FBI agents are like, "Hey, are you Dave Munson?" And he's, Jesus Christ, I'm saying that. Whatever. No one listens to this shit anyway. And they're like, and anyone who knows Dave Munson, everyone who does know him, which is everyone in Omaha, this isn't even a surprising story.
You did not that you live there.
Which is not where I live. Whatever. So anyway, he says, yeah, I'm Dave Munson. And they're like, what's all this we've been hearing about the Breadstick Nation of Islam? And what's your involvement in it? And he's like, you're fucking kidding me, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. I work at Olive Garden. Just jokes here, guys. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they left. So I'm sure he's on some sort of no-fly list or he got him bugged or whatever. But I feel like those feds felt stupid walking up there to investigate that. You know what I mean? Until he opened the door, and then they saw him.
And then they felt justified going over there?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But,
Look, he might not be part of the breadstick nation of Islam, but he is part of something.
It's pretty anticlimactic, but it is funny that someone felt it necessary to report him to the police and or federal government for being part of a Olive Garden-based terrorist cell.
I think it's funnier that you doxed him, you doxed yourselves, you fucking doxed everybody before the show's even started.
That's right.
I went fucking hard. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter at this point. Screw it. That's my funny terrorist story.
A Shin Show.
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 Welcome to A Shin Show. I'm Pete. You've met Nick. That's Elsie. And there's Sarah. I'm not going to tell you any relationships or names or addresses or anything like that.
You did say
Nick will
names.
do that for us later.
Yeah, he will. I said names, but I'm not.
On accident.
You think
It'll
it's
be accidental.
Well, that's fair.
In the throes of telling a story, no doubt about it. So, you mentioned Terry, also known as Dave.
Right.
And what I would say is that, it's been a long time since we name dropped our regular listeners, and I think it's high time. Chris, Cindy, Danielle, Ben, we haven't forgotten about you.
And also other Ben. Big shout out to Ben Dixon.
All
Big
right.
shout out. Also known as Den Bixon. Also known as Peppercorn Bing Bong. Also known as...
I didn't know there was more than one Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there wasn't until recently.
And
My old friend...
Ben Dixon is the OG.
Yeah, my old friend Ben Dixon, we've been friends since childhood, has told me a while ago. He's like, yeah, I've been listening to the podcast. Good shit. So I told him I'd give him a shout out. A shouts out.
It is. It's out
my
there.
old friend Peppercorn Bing Bong.
All right. Well done, Mr. Bing Bong. We're glad you're listening. And I would also just say, hey, look, we haven't forgotten about our OG original sponsor, Ziff's. Ziff's, somebody tried to come to me with the knowledge that Ziff's is not the southernmost restaurant in the world. And you know what? I say that's a bunch of hooey.
Yeah, it was me, and it was true.
And I think it's time to stand up for Ziff's and their reputation. And I'm just going to say it right here. I don't care if they're technically not the most southernmost nation, according to some. And I'm using air quotes here. Map. Okay. The fact is, they have the southernmost spirit in their heart. And that's what the most important thing is. So when you get on down there to Invercargill, New Zealand, you stop on by Ziff's and you tell them, just like you have so many times before, that a Shin Show sent you. Okay? Just do that.
They might give you a discount on your meal, or they might show you to the door and say, why do you people keep coming here?
They might
I
do
don't
that.
know you.
And hasn't
there's
that
only one way to find out.
Yeah, and hasn't that a Shin Show been banned in New Zealand anyway? Anyway, but if you get to New Zealand, do that. All right, anybody else got anything on that, or that's just a thing I
No,
did?
we're good. That's it. That's a wrap.
That's the bit. All right.
Thank you for listening, guys. You can find us on Spotify.
You got
iTunes.
what you came for. Now get out.
No, actually, so the other piece of that, though, is that, all right, yeah, thanks to our regular listeners. Appreciate them, of course. But we all know that they have a pretty significant dark side. And we've been doing the research on that, and we've come up with a series of exposés that we'll be sharing about our regular listeners over the coming weeks. So regular listeners, Chris and Danielle and Cindy and Ben, both of you, we've got dossiers on all of you. And, I just hope you enjoy. We're celebrating you. We're celebrating those aspects of your life that don't get
by
as much.
watching you and all of your acquaintances and loved ones and neighbors very closely.
And if you would like to submit your own biographies to ashinshow@gmail.com, we'll accept that. We may or may not use your content, but we would accept it.
Yeah, we would. And we'll strongly consider using yours either as a counterpoint, rebuttal, whatever. So we're looking forward to really reaching out to you, our regular listeners, in a real and meaningful and legally binding way.
Deeply personal.
Yeah.
All right. So what have you guys been up to this week?
All right. Fair enough. That's another bit. It went nowhere. That second bit went nowhere either.
Well, they're not all hitters, man. Just keep spinning. We'll get there.
All right. Fair enough.
The wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. That's true. So, Elsie, you want to start with your personal news?
What does that mean?
No.
What do you mean you don't know where you're going to be
It's the
tomorrow?
lyrics of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheel in the sky.
Wheel in the sky keeps on
Turning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know where I'll be tomorrow. That was terrible, but yeah.
It's a song about a man with Alzheimer's.
Got it. Which that is what admitting to here.
Well,
I'm concerned for your well-being.
That's
and
fair.
mental health.
Very fair.
Well, so this week I applied for a new job.
Yeah, J-O-B. And this is I'm leaving one. But she's looking. She's on the prowl.
What kind of job?
Were you uncomfortable with the lady who got fired or whatever and you took her spot?
Oh, no. That was a whole different thing. No, I'm not discontent with my employer. I've been invited to apply for this other job. And
Nice.
I've been invited by people that to not apply when I've been asked would seem rude. So,
Got it.
Well, they invited you to apply?
yes.
They
Why don't they just give you the job if they want you to apply so bad?
Certain organizations are not allowed to operate in that manner.
shadowy organizations.
Like
Why?
Narpo.
Why not?
Because you have to give everyone a free chance.
That is the free chances that we picked you
No.
to.
You have to have an official job posting.
Why
Yeah.
though? Why does it matter?
you have to give, in this case, veterans and certain people opportunities to get employed first.
But if they are going to hire you anyway, and they're just doing that as a formality, then what's the point?
You have to, because as the bureaucracy, you have to follow your own rules.
Yes.
Right, but I'm just saying, if you're not going to do it in the end, yeah, we're just offering you to apply. We really want you to have this job, but we got to, it's a formality. We got to make you apply. Then what's the point?
Well, so basically, there is somebody at the office who wants to make sure I get the job, but there's two other very good candidates who are retired military veterans. So they're actually going to get preference in the application process. So my application may or may not even make it to the interviews. But if it does make it to the interviews, I have a very good shot because, the person who asked me to apply is going to be on the board. But I don't
They should
care
just break
too
the
much.
rules and give you the job. Everyone else is
No.
breaking the rules, and there are no consequences.
No.
There are zero consequences. Tell me what the
No.
consequences are for breaking the rules, please.
People get
There's
fired over
no
shit like that.
comeuppance.
Only at the higher levels. We're at middle management.
Right,
son.
we're at very
I guess
low
you're right.
levels.
Yeah.
They care about that.
Middle management has a high degree of accountability. So rest assured that your people in the middle management and lower are regularly getting persecuted
Yes.
and held accountable for their misdeeds.
They're
Yes.
trying to climb up that ladder so they can stop being persecuted, but they're not
Right.
there yet.
No.
They're
There's a
never
lot of
getting
them.
there.
There's a lot on the ladder, and there's a lot of people to step on. So it takes time. You can't rush it.
All right. Well, thanks for enlightening me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I agree. I mean, ultimately, if somebody invites you to have a job, you should just go have it, don't you think? Why go through a bunch of foldy-roll?
Yeah.
Get into the private sector. That's how that works.
Who, me?
No, just
If you just want a job and
Yeah.
be invited to it or whatever, yeah, that's the private sector. That's how that works.
yeah, it's wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
And some other phrases.
and now you're hired.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, tickle, tickle.
Gross. And the
Tickle,
other
squeeze,
exciting
squeeze.
news of
Yes.
the week is that Noah had a good appointment with his naturalization interviewer, and so he should become a U.S. citizen this week.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Ooh. Congratulations, Noah. One
Yeah.
of us.
Finally, be in the #1 country.
Yeah, man, that's exciting. We're number one.
We're #1.
It's an interesting time to try and become a citizen, but it's not like this process started this year or whatever.
No, it
Or
didn't.
maybe it is.
No, it isn't. It started a long time ago, many moons ago, in fact. It's a tale as old as time, and one which I won't go through at this time simply because time does not permit. But suffice it to say, it's a harrowing tale. It's the hero's tale. It begins with Noah in a tiny reed basket flowing down a river in Ontario. And then he becomes a mighty man. But
And he leads his people out of Egypt.
No. He leads his people out of Ontario. And
Got
so,
it.
yeah, it's a whole different vibe.
So
But
the river was the
Into
Niagara.
Quebec.
Do they take the Hudson River?
into
Right,
Quebec.
Hudson River straight into Quebec, where they live and on the journey they eat nothing but manna for years and years.
Right, Canadian
Filling
manna.
but bland.
Yeah. Why you go to Quebec, I'm not sure.
Look,
Those are just the only places I know in Canada.
anyway, so no, it's exciting though that he's going to get a citizenship. Long overdue, and congratulations to Noah for sure.
You've always been an American in our hearts.
No doubt.
I said that just hurt your feelings.
Yeah, I mentioned to Dad earlier that Noah really picked a shitty time to become an American citizen,
Yeah.
No.
When
It's
he
a great
started
time.
out doing it, that was like, I guess it had the veneer of being a noble cause, but now it's like...
No, it's the best time. It's going to prevent him from being deported.
No, and not only that.
It's a good thing to get deported out of here. They couldn't deport him even if they tried. Canada would be like, what, you've been living in America? You've been living in Florida? No, we're not taking you back.
No, they would. They'd just quarantine him for 14 days.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the science. 14 days of quarantine for Noah. But he's not going back to Canada, but now he can. He can cross the border either way with his U.S. and Canadian passports. So good for Noah, and congratulations to him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard this ship. We run a pretty loose ship around here.
It's also a good time. He'll get to vote, so that's cool.
Well,
he'll get to vote for our president.
In a swing
whatever.
state.
So that way, when he mails in his vote, they can just...
throw it in the trash.
Put it with the rest of the votes in the trash, and then the Electoral College will just decide for us. That's how it works. Is that not how it works? They take the popular vote, they throw it away, and then the Electoral College just picks for it.
That is true.
Is that not how it works?
Well, there's an intermediate step where they count the votes of individual voters, and they use those tallies to determine in individual states who won the election, and then based on those results, the electors are chosen, and they have to vote for the winner of the election as determined by the popular vote in their state.
Is that really true, though? Do they actually have to do that? I'm not sure they always have.
They do, in fact.
Haven't people won the popular vote and then not won the presidency?
Yes. Because...
Okay, so what they do, sounds like to me, is they take the popular vote, throw it in the trash, and then they just decide for you.
Well, yeah, but there's
yes or yes.
No, there's an intermediate step that makes it seem
makes
like
no
democracy.
Sense. Yeah.
So
that makes it seem like democracy, right?
So, yeah, I mean, we should all be grateful for that intermediate step to give us the feeling of being in a representative republic.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, I feel like that.
How nice of them to do that for us.
Well, it's just all part of the service. No, what I was going to say is this is the perfect time to become a citizen because you're getting in at the ground floor.
We've the new republic.
You're getting in at the basement floor.
Right. We've never had
in at the rubble.
We've never had a better chance to rebuild than right now.
Yeah. He's an aspiring electrician. He wants to get in there while the studs are exposed and lay his own wiring.
Yeah. Exactly.
While the studs are exposed and the looters are picking our corpse dry.
Right. He's going to build it better.
It is. He is. It is. I don't know why I referred to Noah as it. I guess because he's both Canadian and American now. So does that rob him of gender in some way?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sure he'll go with it.
Not of gender, but just as designation as human.
Because he's dual citizen.
You trade in your humanity for the second citizenship.
Oh,
That's how that works.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they hook you up to a machine and this tube goes down your throat and sucks your fucking soul out. Congratulations, you're American now. How does it feel? It doesn't feel like anything. Good, it works. Get the fuck out. That'll be $20,000.
Actually, you're not far off on the immigration process. It's not cheap. That's for sure. Getting more expensive by the day.
Is it not hilarious that immigration is getting more expensive by the day? Like people would want to move here now?
Well, people do, though. I mean,
still a land of opportunity.
This might be a shithole to you, but there are shittier holes.
Yeah, but there's also better not holes. Many better not holes everywhere. Just basic kind of stuff.
Yeah,
no one agrees with me.
Well,
no one agrees with me that they're
severely
well, they're harder to get to now because they don't let dumbass Americans into their. They're like, yeah, you guys, all of you, just don't come. No, you suck, all of you.
Well, it's only because it's not us. It's nothing personal, son. It's this darn virus.
Well, I mean, but
caused by our. Yeah. Our propagation of the virus.
Our inability to wear a fucking mask.
And just to stay at home, Just a 3-week hard lockdown one time. If everybody would have done it, I feel like would have been a lot better.
Well, actually, you know what? It would not have actually helped that much without federal coordination of testing supplies and the logistics of getting the tests to and from people, a robust federalized contact tracing army. I mean, these are all things that are known to be required.
But you don't need to test if everyone just acts like they have it and stays locked down for 3 weeks. Solid.
Well, then what? You have to identify people with it and have them quarantine and stay away from other people.
But if everyone is quarantined, if everyone just pretends like they do have it because most of us do, and we all quarantine, then we cut out the middleman of even needing tests. We just say, hey, let's not even test anyone. Let's just pretend that we did test everyone and they all came back positive.
Well,
now
but-
let's fucking quarantine hard for 3 weeks and then we should be okay.
Yeah, but people still have to go to the store. People still have to go, to the hospital. Like, you can't completely isolate people.
Not
for 3
everyone,
weeks.
though.
Yeah,
Not
but-
everyone has to do those things. Like, only when you need to do those things in shifts. I don't know. Like, people say it's impossible, but like
It's not.
everyone else did it, and they're
No.
good. So
No.
what do you just keep saying no? What do you mean no?
Because not everyone else did it.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Other people did it, and it's all good. It worked.
New Zealand is the only place where it worked. I mean, South Korea, I guess.
There are other places.
In Germany.
Yeah, there are actually a number of places that seem to handle it better overall
Oh, for
than we do.
sure.
Yeah,
So
a lot better. It seems kind of common sense, right?
Well, again, I'll just get back to my original point, which is that you need federal leadership. You always need federal leadership in a federal crisis, in a crisis that impacts all 50 states.
don't have
It's
that.
required. So in the absence of that, or in the face of weak leadership at the federal level, then you're going to just have basically uncontrolled spread, which is essentially what we've seen. Speaking of which, hey, did y'all head up to Sturgis this weekend? Sounds like a big party.
Yeah, wear a mask if you want to, but hey, if you don't want to, that's on you.
What? What's Sturgis?
The big motorcycle rally
Yeah, you're kidding me.
Where?
You don't know what
in
Sturgis
South Dakota.
Oh, thank God it's not here.
You
Yeah,
don't-
a 6-year-old boy with no underlying conditions died in Nebraska this week.
is? Yeah, I know that. I heard that. I'm glad you're not 6. But in fairness, yeah, this Sturgis motorcycle rally, it comes right up I-29. I can't believe you haven't heard the roars of motorcycles for days.
We're pretty far from 29.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
29's pretty far away from
The undisclosed
this
location.
sector
Yeah.
of the
Of the undisclosed
city.
location. Yeah.
Well, in any event, yeah, about 250,000 people up there whooping it up. So
That'll be interesting to see the data on that in 2 weeks.
you know what the date is going to be.
Yeah, a lot of dead
Yeah,
people
that's a
and
good
even
point.
more sick people.
It's
Did
almost
you?
impossible to imagine that 250,000 people from all corners of the country not wearing any PPE or very minimally. It's hard, you just
I mean,
have
they don't
to
wear
believe.
helmets, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, they never cared.
Well, it's a shame because it's undoubtedly going to result in a public health situation in just a couple of weeks. How could
Yeah.
it not? I'll tell you, if it doesn't, then I'm going to convert to Christianity again.
Yeah, if it doesn't, I'll blow myself. At least when they don't wear helmets, that's on them. When they're doing this, they're just giving it to everyone else.
So did you guys watch the Axios interview with Trump and that fella from
Yeah.
formerly of New Zealand?
That poor fucking guy.
No, I didn't watch it. I have to admit. I just read millions of internet articles about it. I feel like I watched it.
I felt so bad for that dude. Like, just
I
trying
didn't
to
feel bad about it.
trying to reason with this man. Like,
So I have 2 comments about this.
Yes.
The first is that there's like a minute and a half where they're discussing charts and graphs and things. And, there was 2 takeaways I had from that. Is that one, Jonathan was talking about, he's like, I'm talking about death though. Death. And Trump just kind of brushed past it.
Yeah, President Trump said it is what it is.
Well, he did say that. And then he also said, well, but don't we get credit for testing? And it's like, no, dude, can you
you
focus
get
on
credit for people not dying, bro.
So that was that. And then the second thing that I took away from that interview is there was a remix where they took the whole thing of him fumbling with charts and mirrored it so that he was arguing with himself.
Yeah. I
And
saw
that was-
too. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that like summed up the entire interview. You didn't get anywhere, and he just talked in circles and is arguing with himself. It's maddening.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I felt bad for this dude. It would be so frustrating. And you can't just be like, dude, you're being a fucking dumbass right now, because then you'll get ghosted.
Yeah, that's true. But which one are we talking about here? Who do you feel sorry for, the interview or President Trump?
The interviewer, the guy trying to reason with President Trump.
Well,
Why would President Trump get ghosted for telling that guy that he's a dumbass?
No, I'm just saying, I heard it was a pretty good interview for President Trump. I heard many people thought it was great. I heard many people said it was the best interview ever. That's what I heard.
But you haven't actually watched the
No,
interview.
I haven't
To make
watched
your-
it.
to
No,
make
no.
your to make your own opinion.
No, I haven't
Yeah,
watched
okay,
it. No,
yeah,
I
that's
just
what I thought.
I just heard that. Many
Uh-huh.
people are saying it, that it was among the most masterful performances.
Yeah.
That he displayed a high cognitive ability, for example.
Right.
And
Did you read the books on it? The manuals?
I didn't need to, because I heard that he already had.
That's right.
So many people are saying that he's among the sharpest presidents ever. Many people are saying it. So,
all of the important people, some very important people.
Yeah, very important people, smart people, the smartest people. The best
Right.
people
Yeah.
are saying that.
They know only two things in this world: that Trump is the greatest president to ever grace this earth. He's the chosen one, and that the wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
And I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. Well, I'm glad that you watched that interview, Sarah, and I'm sorry I didn't, but there's only so much.
You can't get that back. You can't get that time and brain cells back.
37 minutes.
Ooh, that seems long. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I prefer just reading the internet article.
Actually, if you just watch that clip that Sarah was talking about on Reddit where someone cut it so that Trump was having the interview with himself, that's pretty much all you need to see.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I'll check that out.
You can extrapolate what the fucking interview was like from that.
I'll send it to the group chat.
I appreciate that. I've got something very important, though. Very important that I didn't cover earlier. And that's this, that Elsie made the most delicious peach milkshakes I have ever eaten in my life. She did it yesterday when we had, because I don't think I've covered my personal news. My personal news is as follows. My personal news is that I had some friends over to help celebrate the fact that, I'm leaving this job. And Elsie made the most delicious peach milkshakes that you have ever eaten in your life. So juicy, so succulent. In fact, these peaches that she got from her cousins, she has some cousins who own a farm in New Jersey, you see. And they gave us some produce, and these peaches are as size of your head, and they're just juicy and succulent and delicious, a taste of summer. There's nothing like them. And so Elsie made some of these delicious peach milkshakes, and then I recorded a video of myself eating one of these peaches. Actually, Elsie recorded it. That's the truth. But I'm eating this peach and describing its wonders. So that's my personal
Is that
news.
like extra Patreon content for our listeners?
Could be.
We don't know. It could be. Yeah.
Or
for
anybody
sure.
who follows Rowan's Farm Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. We'll put it on the Rowan's Farm Facebook page, too. You're going to love it. It's a great peach. That's my news.
I've never had a peach milkshake. I'm a little bit sad that I missed out.
There's still 2 peaches left. If you get on a plane right now.
Right now.
Don't delay. Actually, we'll send it to you via DHL.
Okay.
No, we won't.
Okay.
It will be rotten by then. These were ripe off the tree 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That's the why you use DHL, because you want a little rotten, smashed up shit. This podcast sponsored by DHL.
I can't remember what our motto for that. Well, no one's more surprised than we are that you're still around.
Right.
I think that was it.
I saw a DHL vehicle in our neighborhood the other day, and it scared me a little bit.
They know. They know.
Right. They're monitoring us.
They're still here. Let me ask you this, Sarah Shin. I have not heard any personal news out of you.
I really don't have any personal news. I checked off a bunch of stuff on my to-do list, but none of it was the chicken mansion or the ditch in my yard. So, although I am done digging.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're done digging? Have you quit? I mean, do you give up on digging the ditch?
Well, yes, actually. A little bit of both. Both that I gave up on it. I have decided that it is as long as it needs to be and as deep as it needs to be. So I'm done. I'm just going to cut the pipe a little bit shorter than I originally anticipated. And I have to go buy the rest of the materials because I ran out of rock.
So, in other words, what I'm hearing is that you've modified your design based on what a pain in the ass digging the ditch is.
Correct. That is exactly correct.
As long as it's away from the house, who cares?
Right. It's next to the gutter. It's just not quite as far from the gut, as it was going to be. It's like 3 feet shorter, but that's a lot of fucking dirt to dig.
Well, if it's too much, then don't do it. That's what I say. Oh, Nick's given up on the podcast. I don't blame him.
He's fighting with the
an
dog.
Unexpected visitor. He's escorting him.
And when we say escorting him out, are we talking about Ermac?
No, this is Chungy.
Aw, Chungy's always welcome.
No. He's been naughty.
What has he been doing? I mean, has he been skipping school? When you say, has he been doing
He steals
graffiti?
the other kids' treats and then he humps them.
He sexually assaults them.
Yeah. He pushes them down, eats their treats in front of them, and then sexually assaults them.
He's got a
it's pretty
strong
fucked up.
energy.
That's, I gotta say, a little badder boy than I thought.
He's full of life.
Has a certain zest for living, I see. Well, in any
Well,
event,
he's about what, 5 in human years right now?
okay.
World revolves around
yeah.
him right now.
All right,
Who?
that's fine.
Chungy.
Chungy.
5?
He's a year old, isn't he?
I thought he was younger than a year.
I don't know.
Oh, you mean in dog years?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's my personal news part 2. And personal news part 2 is that I went to a pet shop and got my smoking dog some CBD oil. So we're going to see if that helps his smoking cough.
All
So
right.
he's going to switch to doobies from cigarettes? That's
Yeah,
cool.
From cigarettes to doobies, and we'll see how that affects his lungs.
Dubes.
What did I say?
Fat dubes. No, you said it right. I just
Okay.
wanted to say it too.
Okay.
So
Just
you
wanted in on that.
I just wanted in on that action.
I see. So on the hot moose doggy doobie action.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gross.
Well, look, you brought it up. I didn't.
Okay. But you made it gross.
By saying doggy doobie?
I think it was the hot moose action that made it gross.
You're not wrong.
I'm just glad that you're helping him switch over to a more healthful cigarette.
Not that the dog meat cigarettes weren't doing it for him,
Right.
but
Dog flesh.
that's right.
Gross.
Super
Dog
gross.
flesh cigarettes.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, dude. He eats his own toenails.
That is gross.
What?
Yeah,
no, but that's nice though. You don't ever have to cut them. He cuts them for you.
That's true.
that is thoughtful.
It's a benefit. I don't know if it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, a little-
honestly.
Anyway, yeah. So I haven't really done shit. I mean, I feel like I made progress personally, but it was on a bunch of little stuff. Nick,
Oh.
what about you? What's your personal news?
All right, so there's this family that I've mentioned before on the podcast that lives 2 floors above me. He's from somewhere in Africa, you
Is
know.
this the guy that you went and had a beer with in his apartment?
Yeah, who like strong-armed me and Taylor into his
Yeah.
apartment to have a beer with him, like insisted in a very weird and uncomfortable way.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, so get this. Taylor and I, one night, go out. This is a long time ago now, like a month or 2 ago. I just forgot to mention it. We go out back to smoke a cigarette, and there's a girl out there. She's a girl who also lives in the building 2 floors above me, on the different side, who asked me for weed once in a very suspicious way.
Sketchy way.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no, I don't do that, so fuck off. But she was out there with her dog. Dog was taking a piss, and she's like, hey, come here. Will you come here? And we go around the corner, and she's like, that lady up there, who is the wife of that guy who strong-armed us into his apartment, she was like, she was asking me for a ride to go somewhere. Like, she was really insistent that she needed a ride, and she needed it before her husband got home. It's 2 a.m, right? And she's like, yeah, so I told her no, because it's 2 a.m. and I don't know her and all that shit. And I was like, yeah, that's weird. Like, her husband, I guess who he is, I told her the story about how he really wanted us to drink a beer and all that shit. And then Taylor goes to bed. It's like an hour later, and my living room window is like right next to the back door of the building.
Right.
And so I hear some commotion out there. It's 3 a.m, so I like look, obviously,
Right.
and it's that woman, the one who asked her for a ride, sneaking out of the back with a baby. She's just got a baby in her arms, and she just runs off into the darkness. And I never saw her again.
And that's the end of that story right there.
And that's the end of the story. The other story is that the lady who had the dog and was like, she asked me for a ride, asked me for weed. And I was going to do it, except I don't do that.
Right.
So I was like, no.
Don't shit where you eat or smoke where you eat.
Yeah. None of those things.
She's like, so did you just move here? She's like, yeah, I moved here from Florida. And I'm like, oh, all the way from Florida, huh? How did you choose Nebraska? And she just like looked around like she didn't hear me ask the question. And I was like about to ask her again. And then she was like, just to start a new life. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not helping you with shit. You're a weird bitch.
Stage 5.
Yeah.
Now, you were telling me, son, that you feel pretty safe in your apartment complex because the police are always there.
Oh,
And-
yeah. That's another thing is the cops are just always outside. There's just like 1 to 2 police cruiser with their lights on, like just outside my building. Sometimes I'll be walking out and a cop will just be walking down the stairs. And I want to be like, hey, fuck you doing here? But I also don't want to get executed, so I don't.
That's
You're
smart.
white. You won't get executed.
Oh, you think so? Well, I just read a story yesterday about a white, bald dude, fat guy, and his girlfriend were in his apartment playing Crash Bandicoot and making salsa when one of his neighbors decided that the Crash Bandicoot was too loud. So they called the cops for a noise complaint, and the cops showed up and executed him.
This is another tragic Crash Bandicoot related slang. And
Yeah.
for that
Yeah,
reason,
those
we should
cops.
mourn it.
What they do is when you are in the police academy, they tie you up in a chair as part of your training before you're registered.
And tape your eyes open.
Yeah, tape your eyes open, put on strobe lights, and just have the
Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
Theme.
Crash Bandicoot theme and soundtrack and like sound effects playing for no bullshit 52 hours straight.
Right. It's very, very rigorous training. But of
They
course,
got you all hooked up to wires and shit. They know when you're about to fall asleep, pass out due to exhaustion, and they shoot you up full of adrenaline.
yeah, well, playing Crash Bandicoot too loudly is a serious crime. It requires the strongest measures.
I believe it's subsection C of the Article 13/45, right?
Yes.
Right. But all jokes aside, you can understand then why I get nervous when I see cops around all the time who just might not feel safe for some reason.
Right,
Maybe I
because
got
you're-
that look on my face.
Well, because you're an avid Crash Bandicoot player, right?
Well, I partake in some Crash Bandicoot from time to time.
Right.
But they are in my building at any fucking given time, at any given day, for any given reason. And there's also cars that just smash into it. Like, I just come outside sometimes and there's just a car smashed into another parked car. And I'm like, I guess I just won the lottery that wasn't my car parked right there.
You know what that means? You
What?
got a lot of fucking drunks in your apartment.
Yeah, and drug addicts and, you know, schizophrenics and Nigerian people who, like, are running away from their husband with their baby or something. I'm not sure what the story is there.
That's the American dream.
To be able to run away with your baby. That's true.
Yeah, but it was like, you know, she like ran. You know, she got out of the door and ran with a baby in her arms into the darkness.
Yeah, that's pretty dark, dog.
And I'm like, her husband is the guy who, like, insisted me and Taylor come in there and drink a beer. And then he had some liquor. He had some liquor, too, in a bottle that was already opened that he really wanted us to drink,
No,
too.
thank you.
And I was like, no. This is the shit with the roofies in it, isn't it? Yeah, I'm out. Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Peace.
Fuck off.
And that's how it happened.
And that's the way the cookie crumbled this time.
I think all of that you're telling me about your apartment complex suggests to me that you're living in a pretty high-class area. It has
It's
almost
classy.
Hey,
around-the-clock
did drive
police
by.
coverage.
It's idyllic.
And that's why every square inch of your apartment is covered in carpeting.
Carpeting, yeah, carpeting. It's for the damned. It's for the cursed.
The floor
That's how you
covering.
know you're fucked in life. Is when you live in an apartment, you look down and there's carpet. You're like, okay, I get it. I get it. I'm a piece of shit. Not by any virtue of choice that I made. I was just born a piece of shit. I
Right.
get it now.
That's what the carpet of the damned does for you. Well, what a great
What were
story.
you saying, Sarah? You had a thing you were going to say there?
Yeah, I drove by the other day and I noticed that there was a Tesla parked pretty close to where you normally park. And I was like, who the fuck has a Tesla?
I know. There's a Tesla parked there all the time and a brand new S-Class Mercedes. And I'm like, both these people are either really good with money or really bad with money.
Right. There is no in between.
Yeah.
We'll never know, hopefully, unless you find one of them crashed into by another vehicle, which does sound like it's something that could happen.
The Tesla is plated at least, so I'm just gonna give him the shadow of a doubt. He's good with money.
Okay.
But that Mercedes has had in transits for about a year and a half now. So
Well, it's a long period of transit, and I'm sure it's perfectly legal.
yeah, oh yeah. I'm sure it was obtained
Everything's
through
above
legal
level.
means. Yeah.
Well, everything's on the up and up.
You come home from the most intense meeting your company has ever held, and your head is screaming. You can barely make it through the front door as you stumble toward your bathroom medicine cabinet. The migraine you are experiencing is getting worse by the second, making you search for something, anything, to take the pain away, ever more frantic. As you paw through the contents of your medicine cabinet, tossing gauze and NyQuil out of your way, you realize that the situation might be more dire than you first thought. Just as the idea of an ambulance ride dances across your mind, you find it. You didn't know you were looking for it, and you don't know how it got there, but she's there nonetheless. That rusty 38 police special. You pick it up, and the weight of it feels right in your hands. The little flakes of rust float like snow down into the sink. You close your medicine cabinet and look your reflection in the eyes. You both smile at each other. You know what you have to do.
USDA Choice Ribeye Steaks, the taste to end all others.
So I was going to mention the fact Noah is on the line, yet he's not speaking. I think he's struggling to communicate with us. But since he is struggling to communicate, I'm just going to say again, Noah, good on you for becoming an American citizen at exactly the right time in American history. We've
Yeah,
never
congrats.
needed a union electrician more than we have right now in this country. So, Noah, again, thanks for joining us right here in the number one country in the world in some distinct categories.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
you sound great.
Oh, okay. All right. Word.
Sounds so good.
rich.
Okay.
You sound
You do
rich.
sound better than you ever have on this.
Sound better than you ever have before.
Well, it's all thanks to the brand new mic. So
You sound
Thanks,
billions
Sarah.
and billions times better.
Yeah, you
from
do.
another world.
Well, now I got no personal news because Dad went ahead and shared that. So,
Well,
Spilled
if it makes you feel any better, he did that a long time ago.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was having some trouble with technology.
And then you
Well, that's
conquered
because
it.
you're an electrician and not
Yeah,
technologist.
I do big
Technologist.
wires, not the little wires. It's not
That's
for me.
right.
Well, nevertheless, you did have to go do some sort of interview, didn't you? Did they put you through your paces, like run you through a miniature gymnastics routine, that sort of thing?
There was an English test for audio and writing, and it was very, very ridiculous. It was basically like I had to write down a sentence he said, and then I had to basically read a sentence he showed me, and that was it.
So
just
it
one
was-
of those two things.
It was more like a cognitive test?
Yeah, it was that, and then it was just like seeing if your story was straight from what you put in on the application, and then
Well, you've had that memorized for a long time.
yeah. So
You
at
got
that point,
Yeah, you got
it
by
was-
Presuming
that.
you didn't
Yeah.
lie, it's easy.
I
Well,
know.
even if you did
I know.
know.
I know where exactly the truth lies. Okay, and that's what's important. But yeah, it went well. You recommended me for approval, so hopefully very soon I will be a U.S. citizen.
Congratulations.
Hooray.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's personal news. I'm sorry I, ripped off your personal news, but I guess I should just ask you, how do you feel about it?
I feel great. This is the best time.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
That's
I
what I'm
have the
saying.
most faith in this country that I've ever had.
Do you
Obviously.
do you get to
Right.
choose when the glorious day or whatever happens?
No. They choose for me. I have to
Yeah.
show up. If I don't show up at that precise time, all hell will rain down by the fact that they just reschedule it. That's pretty much how it works. They
Okay,
just-
ICE doesn't come to get you immediately.
No. Well,
They
I mean,
don't come
that,
and throw a fucking hood on your head and waterboard you for 12 hours straight and then throw your ass back into some suburb of Ontario.
Well, of course not. He's white.
Oh, wow.
That
Uh-huh.
doesn't protect you that much. We should be clear that white people get killed all the time
Yeah, but not to the same
and
degree.
ghosted. The government doesn't really care what you look like to a certain degree. Cops do,
guess.
but the government don't. It's just about how much money you have.
Oh, that's true.
That's all it really matters. And that's all that really, really matters to the actual people who run the actual world is how much money you have. Whether you're white, black, Canadian, human,
Lizard.
yeah, we all get deported the same.
Oh,
deported
man.
straight to fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I mean, me getting deported might be a leg up, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, you getting deported would be like a good thing. Now.
Who knew getting deported could be an upgrade? So you feel great about it. How come?
Because it's financially the best move. You know how expensive it is to do the permanent residency paperwork. Also, they just doubled the amount it costs to file the paperwork, so now it's like over $1,000. When I applied, it was only like $700-800 or something like that.
Well, you got in on the ground floor. And
Yeah, we need money.
we sure do.
We're broke. America is at the point where they're calling their relatives, scratching their arms and shit. Like, hey, could I just get $300, please?
So do you know when it's going to be? When do you think? You think maybe as soon as next week?
That's what they've said. I doubt it, knowing how long things tend to take with immigration services. So
Yeah, but you don't want to miss it, right? Obviously, if indeed they say come at this time, you obviously want to be there at that time.
that's exactly right. So that's why I'm avidly checking the mail every day.
That's big news. Glad that happened to you. And I guess I would just ask folks, what do you got going on next week?
So Murphy goes back to work next week. Their school district decided to go remote. It was a big last minute decision.
Thank
But
fucking God.
we are very relieved that they pulled their heads out of their fucking asses and decided to go fully remote. Only for the first quarter, but they will evaluate the situation as it unfolds.
Not going to get any better. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's the whole point.
I just wonder, like, how much worse everything is going to get.
But
you
the
know?
bullshit thing is like our mom works in a school district in the same area, but not the same school district. They're all going back.
Yeah. I
Every
don't really
other
like that at
school
all.
district is going back full.
I hate it. I'm telling
So-
my mom, like, hey, tell them kids to stay the fuck away from you. Wipe shit down. You're 50.
Yeah.
I really, really, really don't want my mom to die for Bellevue public schools. You know what I mean? I'd be really mad if that happened.
Or any public school.
Yeah, any, but it's more succinct. It's funnier if I say Bellevue public schools because it's Bellevue. No, but you're right. No public school system is worth dying over. It
Right.
just
Private schools,
ain't.
though.
Oh, you're
Private
right.
schools are okay.
Yeah, private schools are fine.
Especially in Maryland.
Yeah.
That's a thing
Well-
in Maryland. So a public health director of Montgomery County said, no, private schools cannot open in person. And
Good.
Governor Larry Hogan, who's supposed to be this, he's a Republican in name only. He makes nice with Democrats too. He issued an order saying, no, you're going to let private schools do their own thing. So he overturned the county health department's decision.
Well, he's got to be Republican enough to keep, the Republican Party who put him in charge happy.
I don't know.
So I don't love it.
It's tough times because it turns out that this thing can be spread by people. I don't know if you'd heard that. That's one of the new scientific developments about COVID. It can
that
be
people.
Yeah, it turns
are
out.
in fact the things that spread it.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it. Turns out people are a vector for disease with this thing, and I don't think anybody knew that to this point.
Yeah, so, mark my words. By 2024, chronic wasting disease, mad cow disease, prion shit is going to be translated to humans by 2024. Promise you that.
Well, it's already happened. Actually,
it's going to be like I Am Legend. You know what I'm saying? Like the very beginning, though, of I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when everybody's
the book or the movie?
The movie. Definitely the movie. You think I read the book, dude? No.
The book is actually just a collection of short stories. It's the longest of the short stories, but it is completely different from the movie in a lot of really cool ways. Very good book.
Yeah.
Billions and billions of years away in another world.
Very Carl Sagan right there. No, I will say this about I Am Legend. I have read I Am Legend. I did read that. And here's the twist. I'm going to give it away just right now, which is it turns out that he's the last person that's not infected. But everybody else
is the last person that's not a vampire, and therefore he becomes the vampire.
Yeah, exactly.
All they've rebuilt society without him, and they're terrified of the monster who can walk in the sun and doesn't drink blood and shit.
Exactly.
And then they come and he willingly lets himself be executed by them because he is now the monster. But what was cool about it was that the vampires, the creatures, the infected ones, unlike in the movie, would stand outside his house at night and try to entice him to come outside.
Very true. There was a lot that was different about that. But yes, so the point is that, wear a mask. That's the point.
Yeah, so here in our undisclosed location, the health director or whatever was going to make a mandate for our city. Well, really for the county, but
and
the
they went ahead
governor
and decided not to.
Well, because the governor told her that he would sue her.
Oh, why? Why?
Because his constituents or his, money lining people, his pocket liners, didn't want him to.
Downward spiral, downward spiral, downward spiral. This is so fucked. As soon as I'm able to, I want to get the fuck out of America. We got to get out of here, dude. This is fucked. Like, it's crumbling. The corpse is bloating. It's going to explode. We need to get out of here.
I would just encourage you to...
Anywhere else. Literally anywhere. Germany, New Zealand. I would literally rather be homeless in one of those places than be here when the shit really... It's already going down. We're in the middle of the end. Who knows when exactly the beginning of the end was?
And now...
But it's the middle of the end now, and I don't want to be here for the end of the end.
I think you're going to want to be here, and I'll tell you why. It's going to be entertaining. And I know you.
But can't we watch it from a distance? With binoculars?
You don't want to be down on the ground floor like the reporters in a hurricane?
Yeah, the storm chasers.
No.
Don't want to be in the eye of the hurricane.
Well, that's what Noah's decided to do.
And I totally respect that. Totally respect that. I just don't want to. Don't want to be here. It's just fucked. It's so fucked beyond repair, is it not?
Dude, you're telling me I'm in Florida and... Nobody wears a mask.
I know.
They just don't care.
Don't worry. My city is one of the 9 cities that has the highest rates of COVID because there's this bar by my house. I drive by it. Dude, people walking in there with their kids, literally packed full. No social distancing, no masks. I just see a waitress with a mask on, just like running between all these tables. I'm like, that poor fucking woman. Like, she has to do this.
Yeah, I love the one where it's the mom or the dad. It's whatever. It's the parents not wearing masks, but the kids wearing masks. Like, that's going to be good. Like, that's going to protect either the kids or them. You know what I mean?
Does this not just yank back the curtain from the charade? We've seen the wizard now. It's fucked. The wizard is dead. God is dead. We need to run as fast as we can, liquidate the assets.
Yeah,
That's cute. He thinks we have assets.
The thing is, Nick, and I think this is important that we identify this. The good thing, though, is that you're not anxious. That's the important thing. The fact that you're able to handle the end times with such equanimity is, I think, a very positive symbol of your mental psyche.
Right. Anxiety would make everything exponentially worse, wouldn't it? Good thing that is not part of my life.
No way, man. And that'll be reflected positively in your application to ZIFs.
What do you mean
This is, of course, where you will seek refuge.
You're right. I mean, they're going to need a server. No one
Like,
has.
where do you guys see this place in 5 years? Where
What
do
do
we
you-
see America in 5 years?
I see a shining city on the hill, son.
Exactly.
Filled with streets
Exactly.
paved with marble and gold, where brothers and sisters and people of all different faiths, creeds, backgrounds, and national origins
Diseases.
can come together
Just the one disease.
and work as perhaps a fractious at times, but always unified team in support of those great American values of justice, of the general welfare, of fairness and fundamental fair play, of getting ahead and doing so smartly to benefit all people. That's where I see us in 5 years.
Legitimately, I'll be interested to see how the rest of this year plays out.
Yeah. Gonna
You
be
want to know
interesting.
where I see us in 5 years?
I think I know where I see you in 5
You want me
years.
to describe it like you just described it? It'll be a lot shorter. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I'm going to describe it with a story.
Oh,
Okay.
parable, if you will.
One time, and I wasn't here for this. I wasn't there for this. But my friends decided to all went out to this place in Colorado, just to go do Colorado shit.
Yeah.
And they rented a hotel. And one of the friends, his name, we'll call him Gore. Gore is known for his, we'll just call it what it is, for his massive debilitating shits that he takes.
Okay.
Okay. And he took a shit in the toilet of this hotel and just something went horribly wrong. It was either the volume or consistency of the shit. I don't know. But it caused the toilet to produce even more shit, right? So his solution was to just close the bathroom door and not tell anyone, right? And then they open the bathroom door the next day and it is shit hell. There's just shit everywhere, leaking into the carpet. Just not good. That's when you open that door and just hear the flies and see the shit seeping into everything. That's where I think America's going to be in 5 years.
How about
Except
you?
with some skulls, more skulls too.
Okay. How about you, Sarah?
I don't have enough information to make a.
Cop out.
Yeah, I am copping out. I mean, legitimately, I think it depends on how the rest of this year plays out. I would like to see. I don't know, man.
Let's go ahead with worst case scenario because that's what's happening. So
No, what I would
No.
say is, what I hear you saying, Sarah, is that the next near to midterm outcomes of specific events are going to impact the long-term outcomes as well.
Yeah. Legitimately, as the people on the ground, I don't think life will change a whole lot for us regardless. We are not important enough to have meaningful shit happen to us.
That's what you think. You know what
Yeah.
your dearly departed Uncle Teddy would say? Fame can strike at any moment. In the same way that history can pick you out of the crowd at any moment. I'm just telling all of you, get your Napoleon outfits ready. Just get them ready. I mean, you don't have
think
to
there's
wear
a
them.
possibility that the quality of life for the common person in America is going to go downhill severely in the next 5 years?
Yeah, but I feel like I am at a position where it won't affect me as much. I'm
know.
at threshold to middle class, and I've been in the lower class. I've been in poverty, so I feel like if I have to go back to that, I can. But I don't feel like my current position will be impacted all that much.
You should be good. As long as something catastrophic doesn't happen between now and then.
Let me ask you this, Noah. Actually, before we get to Noah, I want Noah to bat cleanup because he's going to be our newest American citizen. But Elsie, where do you see the country in the next 5 years?
I find it impossible to predict the future, but I agree with Sarah that the election will have a lot to do with it. And I also think that it's not going to really impact me that much. I mean, honestly, a lot of things haven't, but there's a lot of potential for a lot of shit to go whack. And so let's just all hope that doesn't happen.
All right, now, Noah, you're going to bat cleanup. Our newest American citizen, where do you think America is going to be in 5 years?
I think we're going to be slowly drifting into a dystopia. I mean, they already got that facial recognition shit. I mean, all it takes is like a couple steps before the cops can do like what they did in China with the social credit system and shit like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
we're already beholden to our credit scores anyway, the modern American lifestyle.
Yeah. You have to do outrageous things to not rely on credit.
And plus, the riots here are a lot like the riots in like Hong Kong and the protests. So I'm just saying they're being handled pretty similarly.
That's an
true.
interesting
Yeah, there's
point.
parallels, right? I don't get how nobody else can take a step back and see the downward slope this is taking.
Well, I can see it, but I'm got to tell you that in order to get up in the morning, I have to see a positive vision of the future. And
there's the rub. But that doesn't necessarily make it actual reality, though.
No, but the worst case scenario may or may not become reality. The reality is that most complex systems of which the world is one, the most likely thing that's going to happen tomorrow is the same thing that happened yesterday. And that momentum is either good or bad. And right now, I agree with you, the momentum is bad, but that doesn't mean that the momentum can't be changed. It's happened in my lifetime. Things were pretty bad in 1974, man. Things were not good. And, we got it turned around. Things were not good plenty of times in my lifetime, and we got it turned around. Now, on the other hand, I think it's wise to be prepared. That's all I'm saying.
Be prepared.
Yeah, Boy Scout style.
It's a little Lion King for you.
Oh.
It's a little Lion King for that ass. Lion King back in that ass.
Dope. I like it. All right, so we started to talk about, I think, what we were going to be up to this week. I've got to actually go to the doctors. You see, I'm getting fitted for my CPAP.
But did you?
That was his news last week, but then Tropical Storm Isaias prevented that from happening.
It's true. I got aced out by Tropical Storm Isaias, which I've spent the entire week studying how to pronounce.
What's up with that MRI shit? Did they ever get back to you on that?
No, no news is good news, dog.
No, and the other good news is the storm did bring us 5.5 inches of rain, which meant we got the world's largest zucchini, which then I forced your father to grate, and I made zucchini bread, and it was amazing.
Oh, I love zucchini bread.
Yeah.
I've never had it, but it sounds terrible.
Yeah,
it's
does.
delicious.
It's
it
good.
sounds terrible, but it is delicious.
Tastes like banana bread.
It does.
It somehow does, yes.
It's
I
like
think it's
banana
a shit ton
bread
of
and
sugar.
pumpkin bread had a baby.
Oh, well, that does sound really fucking good.
Yeah, what's really good is when you put some of that white frosting on it. Oh,
Cream
baby.
cheese.
Oh, yeah.
It's not about the color.
Okay. It does happen to be white, though. I mean,
does,
yeah.
but when you say that white, it could be vanilla, not cream cheese.
It could.
Could also be whipped cream. That's what I thought you were saying.
Oh, yeah.
Which
that's
is also
nice.
good on it, by the way.
I like
Also
a
quite
cream
good.
cheese icing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had that like Philadelphia, the one that's like pink or like a violet color?
Yes.
Whatever that one is.
Yes.
That, like fruity one.
Mm.
Get some of
Dude,
that
you
on
know
there.
what's good with cream cheese? That is a little bit of an ancient Chinese secret.
What's that?
Fritos.
Oh, Fritos.
You take Frito, you dip it in the.
No,
I know it sounds crazy.
I've been there for this. I've seen and partaken in these actions.
Yeah, and it's fucking delicious.
That's awesome. Well,
My
kids,
buddy's mom taught me that from Louisiana. Sherry was her name. She was not a
Was
good
a what?
person.
I thought
There's
you
a
were
lot of shit, a lot of baggage there that I don't. If
But-
for some reason my friend Bryce ever listened to this, he would very much not appreciate me telling all the horrible things that his mom did.
So, like
But-
what? Yeah, we need to know now.
Oh,
no,
man,
I
this
don't-
is like, it's pretty dark, actually.
Well,
You know?
just one thing that's kind of medium gray versus,
Yeah.
full on black.
Okay, one time she tased me in the dick, like for fun.
How old were you?
I was hiding in his room, and she just had a taser, was just running around. There's a party going on, and I was like, "Hey, I'm not coming out while you got that taser out." And she's like, "Okay, it's gone. I put it away. I swear to God, I'm done with it." And then I walk out of his room, and she's crouching next to the door like a fucking goblin. And just boom, wings that taser around right where my dick is, and I collapsed to the floor, writhing in pain for a good 15 minutes.
How old were you?
I could not have been older than 15 or 16.
Oh my god.
That's heartwarming.
Yeah.
It
What
sounds
a
like a
bitch.
crime.
My friend Raleigh was there. He can attest to that. He saw that. His words were, if you tase me with that thing, I'm going to hit you in the fucking mouth. That's what he said. And that's what I should have said too. That's what I should have done, goddammit. She tased me in the dick, for Christ's sake. But
Right.
you know what? It's all good. It's all good. You know? It's all love.
Well, after you get tased in the dick, I don't think you're hitting anyone for 15, 20
No.
minutes, right?
No,
That's
what you're
true.
doing is you're writhing on the ground in pain.
Yeah, so
As your dick spasms in ways that are so horrible, in
Yeah.
ways you never, in billions and billions of ways you never thought possible.
yeah, man, it's bad. Well, I will tell
Billions
you,
and billions of volts to your genitalia.
ouch. Hey, so Noah, what you doing this week? You're getting your citizenship on, right? You got anything else?
No, absolutely nothing. I finished up my one college course. I'm waiting for classes to start again for the apprenticeship. So
I got it.
No jobs. No
Yeah.
jobs in sight whatsoever. I
That-
call like every day now.
That's
No
terrific.
jobs.
Yeah, I guess it's good for now, but I imagine you'll want to get back to the job site at some point.
Yeah, now that the federal unemployment ran out, Florida's is pretty no bueno.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Good news. Help is on the way. The Congress is going to think about talking about applying some additional relief in the face of this at some point when
We'll see how that
when
goes.
When they
conditions
feel like it.
well when conditions
Yeah,
ripen.
when they fucking feel like it. They're gonna tax DHL to deliver everyone's checks by hand.
So look for those this
You
week.
better be there to sign for it, or else they're throwing it right in the trash.
No, they'll
In
just
fact, no,
give.
they don't throw it in the trash. They light it on fire on your doorstep so that you can see the ash pile and know that you missed it.
Yeah,
And or just
they
give it
rip
to a
it in
dead
half
person.
and light one half on fire, and then put the other half on the ashes.
And it's the
And then
half
next
with
to
like
that is a nicely coiled turd.
All I can say is they better fucking do it while Brad's still 17, because I want my other child stimulus money. And
Yeah.
if they wait too long, I might get fucked.
I don't think its help is coming.
All
I
right.
think we're stuck here.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Although I do have some other news.
Yeah.
Harrow, the 9th came out.
Oh.
It came out on the 4th. What day is it?
Have you finished reading it?
No, because I was going to buy it that day on Kindle when it came out. But
Yes.
Taylor, and I kept saying that, and Taylor was like, okay, well, I have to, this is going to be a surprise. I have to tell you now, but I ordered 2 copies of the books for you and me already. And I was like, oh, great. What day will it be here? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And so now it's just days and days and days that I'm going without this book on purpose.
But you'll get a copy eventually.
That was what was keeping me going.
Yeah.
Was waiting for this book.
And
now I'm stuck in
you've
limbo.
got nothing.
Oh wow.
Nothing.
I was like, is there a tracker on this thing? Can we and she's like, yeah, this was like yesterday. She's like, oh yeah, in 5 to 7 business days.
Oh, okay.
That's not going to cut it.
Well, but that's not exactly like forever. At least you have a definite timeline.
Well, she ordered it through DHL. So, okay, I'm done with the DHL jokes. I swear to God.
It's still pretty funny. All right, so Elsie, what do you got this week?
I'm going to go to the workplace and do a business, and other than that, I'm not sure.
All right, well, that sounds like a drag. I'm sorry about that. And how about you, Sarah? What you got going this week?
I already gave my news.
What'd you say?
I said that Murphy goes back to work this week.
Oh, yeah, sorry, dog. My memory, it's not what it used to be. You know this.
Uh-huh. You can give it whatever excuses you want. I know you don't listen. Like, you don't have to pretend.
I do
Yes,
listen.
he does.
I just don't hear.
Do not.
I-
I have. Oh my God.
I
No,
said he
you
has
don't.
to pretend, yeah.
Look, you could basically have the newspaper up in front of your face and just be like, "Okay, honey, we've all been here."
You
Yeah.
are notorious. That's been my whole life.
We're all there right now.
I'm glad we didn't get out of the podcast without pointing out what a shitty father and husband I am, because that's appropriate. It is.
Well, you know what? Eventually, our derision will force you to change your behavior, right? Like, aren't you proud of us for not taking your shit?
Very much so.
You raised a strong and empowered young woman.
Very much so. Yeah, totally by accident as it happens, but nevertheless,
I
Therapy has
never
helped me a lot,
condoned
okay?
this.
I mean, I didn't intend for that to happen. I didn't intend for anything, really, but I'm glad it did work out that way. Sarah, I'm very proud of you. And you too, Nick.
And you too,
Oh,
Noah.
thanks.
I'm getting
yeah, I
to
was about
Noah.
to say, fuck me, right?
No, I'm getting to Noah.
It's always
Yeah,
Sarah and Nick
yeah,
in the
sure
same
you
breath, and then as an afterthought, oh yeah.
Oh, shit. No, that's not true. I mean, it's just that I feel so especially bad about Noah that I want to make a special effort to apologize to him personally for the last.
Because you don't
So
even
Nick
get a
and
full
Sarah
apology.
aren't good enough. Huh?
Right,
So now it's
exactly.
Got me
different.
in there, dude.
Yeah.
We both were on the tail end of that thing.
All right. Anyway, well, love you, kids.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Ah, the soothing sounds of wind flowing through knickknacks hanging from your roof. Isn't that relaxing? There's no better way to reach audible nirvana than through these quasi-artful conglomerations of trash cobbled together by a third-world peasant to support their enormous malnourished family by selling them to dumb tourists. We've all had the experience of sitting on the back porch, enjoying a cup of coffee, being one with nature, and thinking, there's too much peace and quiet. If only there were some annoying and repetitive sounds cutting through my attempts at meditation like a hot knife through my exposed brain. Or, alternatively, I've been getting way too much sleep lately. If only there were a few pieces of scrap metal tied together with a string and hung on the edge of my house so it can bang on my siding and prevent me from getting those pesky 8 hours of rest. Well, you know, those concerns and many others can be tied up and formed into a shitty, wind-powered, noise-making reality when you come on down to Sarah's Super Wind Chime Emporium. At Sarah's Super Wind Chime Emporium, we've got the widest selection of these auditory annoyances this side of the river Styx, crafted from premium materials like dead animal bones, discarded aluminum fragments, and the finest available biomedical refuse. Best of all, Sarah's Super Wind Chime Emporium is certified by the Wind Chime Manufacturers Association of America as a sustainable producer of homicide-inducing audio generators. That's right, Sarah's is WOMA sanctioned and WOMA approved. So get on down to Sarah's Super Wind Chime Emporium today and kiss peace and quiet for you and your neighbors goodbye. Forever.
A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. Join us each week on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks as always to our regular listeners. We love to hear from you, so if you have a question, comment, recommendation, or idea you would like to submit to a Shin Show, please email us at ashinshow@gmail.com, and we will be happy to ignore it, belittle you publicly, or steal your ideas if you actually have a good one. And don't forget, if it ain't ass, it's shit.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.